あなたはあの鱗を通して聞き耳を立てていたのよね。
そりゃもううつつの世と行ったり来たりするものなどわしの知る限り他にはおらんからな。悪用しようとする輩がおるかもしれんと心配しておったのじゃ。しかしまさかエルフの娘と抱き合う日々とはの。
𝐒𝐮𝐩𝐸 the Arkdragon. This was one of the best episodes of Miss Elf yet. I have said this over and over and over again. I think when we're in Japan and we're with the elf and we're there and we are just getting accustomed to Japan and it's just a being of alternate world getting used to Japan is just such it's the brightest spot and the brightest part of the show. And I think adding in the Arkdragon, adding in 𝐒𝐮𝐩𝐸, however you say her name, I think is a really smart decision here. She just brings something extra and unique to the anime for sure. And in this episode, really what she ended up bringing was really trying to get Mari and Kazuhiko closer, right? She made them evident that, hey, there's something extra here in your relationship. There is something extra, here. Like she basically was like, hey, Mari, you're changing. You're an elf. You're kind of like a spirit, but you're changing your mannerisms, your being to match Kazuhiko. And she didn't really realize that before. And she's like, oh, yeah, okay, I am. And she's like, and 𝐒𝐮𝐩𝐸 was like, yes, you are changing to become Kazuhiko's mate. And I think kind of putting the language on it like that really woke up Mari quite a bit. And of course, she's a dragon, so the way that she looks at things is, definitely quite different than Mari, who is an elf, or Kazuhiko, who's, obviously a human being, and a human being from our world and not this fantasy world. Obviously he is now because he's spent basically his whole life over there as well as here, but you know what I mean. And she definitely called out how Mari is still young and innocent and childlike, and Kazuhiko is, a coward because he cares for her so much, which the way she explained it, definitely makes sense. Like, he's very careful because he cares for her so much. He doesn't want to ruin that balance, that friendship, that relationship that they have with trying to introduce something romantic. So he basically kind of keeps her at arm's length to ensure that there's nothing to come between them. But 𝐒𝐮𝐸𝐸, definitely, like, she stirs the pot and she's like, hey, if you want to find out how he really feels about you, kiss something on him. Doesn't have to be lips, but like kiss something. So she does. Mari takes it upon herself to kiss his forehead, and of course, Kazuhiko explodes and blushes and doesn't know how to react to it. And that basically solidified that, yes, he does really like her like that. He's just afraid to make his move because, again, he doesn't want to lose her in any way, shape, or form. So I think that was really cool. On top of that, I love 𝐒𝐮𝐩𝐸. I love that, she is a free spirit and she's candid and she is well endowed. So she's definitely, a pleasure to look at on screen. And I like her personality. I like that she reacts to food. I like how she reacts to sake. I like how she was just rolling on the floor as she hit her head. I think she just provides that additional comedy that the show definitely is missing when her or another character who's not our main two are on screen. She just provides that comedic relief that I think is so necessary. I also did enjoy the little piece, the little portion of the Otherworld episode as Kazuhiko and Mari were leading up to 𝐒𝐮𝐸𝐸, and they have to go sleep with her, so that way they could bring her over to this world. And beforehand you had I don't know what his name is, but you had the fairy tale One Piece looking character and his confidant, coming in. And they were infiltrating the base of operations where 𝐒𝐮𝐸𝐸 lives, and they were following Kazuhiko and Mari. And they got, tooted and booted out of there because they got caught really quickly. And I enjoyed that whole scene. I thought that was a really funny scene. So I definitely did enjoy that little bit that they gave us from the other world, which I love when they just give us little bits as opposed to really just being in that world, because that world is kind of boring. So I definitely like that quite a bit too. But it definitely did introduce one more complexity is, they slept with 𝐒𝐮𝐸𝐸 and they definitely brought her over to Japan, into this world. But as we were sleeping, her actual body and her children were right there. So it begs the question once again is, does Kazuhiko have some kind of semblance of control on who he can bring back and forth? And I don't think we'll ever get an answer to that question. But yeah, overall, welcome to Japan, Miss Elf. This was episode number 8. Was really good. Episode number 9 is next week. We didn't get a preview or even a name for next week's episode, so I don't know what it'll be centered around. But hopefully we get more Weirdra next week, and hopefully, well, they'll probably end up taking us back to the other world and have them excavate or investigate that dungeon. But that's gonna be not my favorite. But I did really love this episode quite a bit. So I think this episode was like an 8.5, 8 out of 10. Really, really good episode. So yeah. That is it for me, guys. I appreciate you guys being here for another week of Welcome to Japan, Miss Elf. I'll see you guys next week. Let me know your favorite moment this week's episode in the comments below if you made it to this part, and I'll see you guys next week. Peace out.